Manchester United's October shortlist for Player of the Month is more than a vote. It's a diagnostic report on a squad that has been trying, and mostly failing, to become a coherent football team for years. The four names on that list, Senne Lammens, Matthijs de Ligt, Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, are not just in form. They map to structural needs that had been unsolved: stability in goal, authority in the defensive line, repeatable threat in transition and possession, and a center forward who can both link and finish. 3 of those players are new. That's not a coincidence, that's design. To understand why this matters, you have to start with context. Manchester United have lived in improvisation for 2 seasons. Crisis lineups, emergency changes, moments instead of patterns. The team would win a marquee match, then collapse to a mid-table side 5 days later. Every department felt decoupled from the others. The goalkeeper was playing one tempo, the defense another. The midfield chasing chaos, the forwards hoping for individual brilliance. What happened in October under Rúben Amorim is not that the club discovered 4 stars. It's that it installed 4 stabilizers. Senne Lammens is the first, and maybe the most symbolic. Goalkeeper is one of those positions fans oversimplify. Did he save the shot or not? But for a top side, much of a keeper's value never appears on highlight reels. It's about temperature. When the ball bounces in the box, does everyone panic, or does everyone reset because they trust the situation is handled? Lammens walked into his debut, a senior debut at a club of this size, and delivered a clean sheet in a 2-0 result. That isn't just a number. That's a first impression to a dressing room that has been living with instability. His starting position off the line was controlled. His body shape when claiming high balls was balanced instead of frantic. His distribution under pressure was calm, not heroic for Instagram. That calm propagated. A keeper like that doesn't just stop goals. He lets the back line hold its structure. He buys the midfield the seconds it needs to recover shape. He stops the stadium from tightening with every loose cross. That is a direct competitive edge. It also travels. When United went into bigger, noisier fixtures, Liverpool, Brighton, Lammens didn't snap into emergency mode. He didn't rush clears or drag defenders into chaos. He played with the composure of someone who expects his back line to win the second ball. That alone changes the psychology of everyone in front of him. Now follow that into Matthijs de Ligt. If Lammens is emotional stability, de Ligt is structural authority. His impact in October is much less about one viral tackle and much more about something managers call line ownership. In simple terms, who decides how high we stand? Who decides when we squeeze? Who decides when we drop? A back 4 without a voice plays in 4 different time zones. A back 4 with a voice behaves like a unit. De Ligt has been that voice. His reading of when to step and when to delay means United are no longer defending in pure emergency mode. He is also communicating that standard to teammates. And here is the important data point. October is already his 2nd consecutive nomination for Player of the Month. That implies consistency. Consistency in central defense is the beginning of identity. Watch De Ligt off the ball, not just on it. He scans early, points before the pass is played, drags the line 2 meters up or 2 meters back before the danger even looks real. That's leadership in its most boring but most valuable form. When a center back like that is in control, fullbacks don't have to freelance. Midfielders don't have to drop into the box out of panic. The whole block can compress space together. That compression turns opposition possession into duels in traffic, instead of free runs into the final third. United haven't had that in a long time. They've had last-second blocks, brave sliding tackles, full stretch saves. They've had heroism. They haven't had control. Move higher. Bryan Mbeumo has changed the shape and the mood of the attack at the same time. He is not just putting up output, he is setting off chains. In October alone, he delivered an assist, he scored the opener against Liverpool. And he hid Brighton for 2 goals in a 4-2 win that felt as much like an identity statement as it did like 3 points. But the goals are only half the story. The other half is pressing. Modern pressing isn't run hard, it's run first and run correctly so others can run second. When Mbeumo jumps, he doesn't sprint blindly at the ball. He curves his run to block the easy outlet, then forces the ball carrier toward a trap. That curve is the signal for the rest of the front line to lock passing lanes and swarm. This is crucial. United early in the season had to sit deeper because they could not trust their first line of pressure to set a trap without getting played through. With Mbeumo, they can start higher. When you start higher, you win the ball closer to goal. When you win the ball closer to goal, your chances become simpler and cleaner. That's how you turn effort into expected goals instead of just running. There's also his timing in the box. Mbeumo's movement is not classic winger chalk on the boots. He doesn't wait wide and then cross from the byline. He starts wide to stretch the back line, then darts into the inside channel, then attacks the back post at speed. That 3-phase run forces center backs to constantly hand him off. If they lose track for even 1 beat, he's arriving unmarked for a close finish. Those late arrivals are how United got separation in Brighton. Those are not luxury goals. Those are match-defining swings. And then there is Matheus Cunha. His arc is maybe the most human. Early October, he's the bench piece, the energy guy, the maybe he'll change it option. By the Brighton match, he's no longer just running, he's shaping matches. He scores his first goal for the club. He links play between midfield and the forward line. He presses with more purpose. He looks like someone who finally knows his assignment, instead of someone auditioning for one. And that assignment is central to how Rúben Amorim wants his number 9 to operate. In Amorim's preferred structure, the center forward is not a static penalty box poacher. The forward is a hinge. Drop off the Senne backs, receive feet to feet, ounce the ball first touch into a midfielder, then spin into the space you just vacated. You are both creator and finisher, wall pass and dagger. When Cunha does this well, United's attack suddenly looks layered. The wide forward can cut inside without killing spacing. The wingback can overlap without clogging the half space. The midfield can step into zone 14 without leaving a massive hole behind them. The shape breathes. Now zoom out. Put Lammens, De Ligt, Mbeumo, Cunha on one board. What do you see? You see calm at the base. You see command in the line. You see pressure and punch in the front line. You see linkage at center forward. You see, basically, a spine. Manchester United supporters and media have spent years asking if the club has a spine. October's shortlist quietly answers that, at least for a month, with 4 names. And the timing matters. Those 4 names powered something specific. 3 straight Premier League wins. That hadn't happened yet under Amorim. You can wave away 1 result as adrenaline. You can wave away 2 results as momentum. 3 results with repeatable patterns starts to look like mechanism. The pressing triggers were consistent. The distances between lines were consistent. The chance creation patterns, draw pressure wide, hit the far post, arrive with numbers, were consistent. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't hope someone produces magic. It was method. Recruitment is the subtext to all of this. Look at the shortlist again. 3 of the 4 players are recent arrivals. That matters for 2 reasons. First, it means scouting and coaching were finally on the same page. United have had windows where talented individuals arrived, but the manager could not or would not use them in role-specific ways. The result was a squad that looked expensive but mismatched, like buying 4 different puzzle sets and dumping them in one box. October does not feel like that. October feels like someone actually bought the missing pieces from the correct set. The new goalkeeper's profile matches the manager's need for composure in build-up. The new center back's profile matches the need for vocal organization. The wide forwards profile matches the need for an aggressive first presser who can also finish. The striker's profile matches the need for link and finish in the middle. This is alignment. Second, and maybe more quietly, it means the psychological center of the dressing room is shifting. When the voices that calm you, direct you, create for you, and score for you are mostly new, that signals a handover. Veterans are no longer carrying the full emotional load. New signings are not anxious passengers waiting to be accepted. They are already core. That accelerates cultural change. This is why October can be read as more than a good month. It can be read as proof of concept. The model on paper is simple. Keep the defensive line connected, win the ball higher, attack in layers instead of isolation, finish actions with numbers. But that model only exists if you have the profiles to run it. United now, for the first time in a while, actually do. And yet the question is not, did they look good in October? The question is, can this hold in November, December, January, when the calendar compresses, when fatigue hits, when opponents adapt, and when outside factors like international duty pull pieces out of the structure? Sustainability is the next exam. 3 wins is the teaser. How they survive stress is the story. There are still fragilities. The build-out under pressure is calmer, but not bulletproof. The backline, while more unified, can still be dragged wide if the midfield fails to screen. The attack still leans heavily on Mbeumo's timing and Cunha's availability between the lines. If either of those drops, the whole press and punch rhythm can stall. And depth is not evenly distributed. If Lammens needs a rest or picks up a knock, does the same calm exist? If de Ligt is missing, does the line still move as one, or does it revert to panic defending around the box? Those are open questions. But here's the part that actually matters for where this project goes. For once, these are football questions, not identity questions. We are no longer asking, what even is this team trying to do? We're asking, can they keep doing this when stressed? That sounds small, but it's huge. The first question lives in crisis. The second question lives in competition. October then becomes a kind of timestamp. Before October, Manchester United as a set of disconnected parts, waiting for a moment of brilliance or a mistake from the opponent. After October, Manchester United as a system with defined roles, defined triggers, and defined ownership of each game phase. The shortlist isn't just a press release, it's a map of responsibility. Senne Lammens owns calm. Matthijs de Ligt owns order. Bryan Mbeumo owns pressure and punch. Matheus Cunha owns connection and finish. Put that spine on the pitch, and you get a team that looks like it finally knows why it wins. So here's the final question. Is this just an October spike? A warm run? A good mood? A bounce? Or is this the month where Manchester United quietly installed the spine of their next era in real time, in front of everyone, and almost no one noticed it happening?